What would you do if I told you that you can make between 1 mil and 2 mil GP per hour whilst doing all bank standing skilling methods? That includes almost all crafting, fletching, herb lore, making jugs of wine, high alking, enchanting bolts, and many, many more. In fact, you can even make around 500,000 GP per hour firemaking. Yes, you heard that right. You don't need multiple accounts to do it, it's completely legitimate, and there's definitely none of that. So I figured out a method that essentially allows you to sacrifice some of the XP you get while skilling in exchange for making a healthy amount of GP. But the best bit is, with the money you are making in many cases, you can actually afford to skill with a higher XP item and often get more XP. The only downside to this method is that it does require access to Prifdiness, which requires level 70 in these skills to complete the quest, the Song of the Elves, plus you will also need 77 Hunter. Prifdiness is the only place that you can catch crystal implings, which are worth around 74,000 GP each once opened. There's only ever one per world, and although their exact spawn location isn't known, as they are invisible for the first few minutes after they spawn, we know it to be somewhere around here. That's because although they can travel anywhere in Prifdiness, the majority of implings are found around here. In fact, almost all of them are found in this half of the map, the same side where the bank is, and you probably know where this is going. There are 3 different types of skilling methods, so 3 different routes that you want to use to maximise the amount of implings you catch while skilling. For all of the methods, you want to set up RuneLite to highlight crystal implings in the game and also on your minimap so they're easier to see. To do this, open RuneLite and go to implings, then select configure, go down to crystal implings, and you can either select highlight to see implings more clearly or notify if you prefer a message when there's one near you. On RuneLite, you also want to go to camera and change the expand out zoom limit to 250. This allows you to zoom out much further and click further away, which is really important in most of these methods as it lets you skill for longer without being interrupted by clicks all the time to move. And finally, you can also configure World Hopper on RuneLite to hop worlds by pressing any key you choose, which also makes these methods quicker. The first route is for skills that you can do in your inventory and you don't need to bank to do, such as fletching darts and arrows, enchanting bolts, or high alking. Because of the area of view that you get and the fact that you don't need to bank, you can simply do any of those skilling methods whilst running from A to B. Hot worlds, run back from B to A skilling again, hot worlds, and repeat, catching any crystal implings as you go. It's a very short distance, so this method catches you the most implings but also loses you the most XP. I've tested this a few times because there is some RNG, and you seem to get around 20 to 25 implings per hour at a loss of around 50% of the XP, although you do get around 5,000 Hunter XP. If high alking, you make around 1.5 to 1.85 million GP on the implings, plus between 500k and 1 million GP per hour depending on your item from high alking. So in total between 2 million and 2.85 million GP per hour doing this method. But fletching shows you how this method can be used not just as a money maker. You can make around 40,000 arrows per hour, which gives you the following XP and the cost of doing it. Fletching iron arrows normally costs 439,000 GP per hour and gives you 99,975 XP. But by using this method and fletching mithril arrows instead, the 1.64 million cost of the arrows is negated by the profit from the implings, and the arrows give over double the XP. So even at 50% the normal XP rate, you are gaining more XP per hour than you would fletching iron arrows, and you're making money instead of losing it. Next path is for any method that requires using a bank after each inventory, such as herb lore, fletching bows, making d'hide, battle staffs, cutting gems, and so on. This is the path that you want to use, stopping at B when you're halfway through whatever you are skilling and hopping worlds. Then returning back to the bank, finishing your inventory and restocking, and then repeating the process. Because some things like fletching bows takes longer than cutting gems, where B is will change depending on what activity you're doing. In all of these methods you will of course need to have your butterfly net with you, an impling jar and a stamina potion. This path lets you catch around 12 to 15 implings per hour worth about 1 million GP, whilst getting about 60% of the XP that you would do normally. Finally, when doing this I thought why not firemaking as well, since you go west naturally whenever you burn a log. There's a nice line that you can take which takes you straight through the middle of the western side of the map, the most common area to find imps. Because you only hop worlds once at the end of each inventory, you spot between 5 and 10 imps per hour, but it doesn't affect your XP rate much at all, since the only wasted time is hopping worlds once every inventory. That means you get over 80% of the XP you normally get, and you make around 500k per hour whilst firemaking. Presuming you burn around 1400 logs per hour normally, that means you actually make money burning any log apart from magic. Now, all of these numbers are based on the fact that right now, not a lot of people hunt crystal implings, and after I release this video, it may change. But don't worry, it never ever lasts. Give it a few weeks and it will be back to normal. And if you have any questions at all about these methods, just leave a comment and I'll answer it as soon as I am on.